I'm going to ask you a favor right off the top, if you don't mind. Today is actually Chris Carter's birthday. Save it, because I want to film that. So if you guys could say happy birthday, Chris, and I could film it, is that okay with everybody? Okay, hold on.
Oh boy.
I know where I'm coming for my birthday.
Me too.
Thank you. That's going to be special.
I love you guys!
Just do it for my mother. She really knows.
Only 3,000 people?
So, might as well get things rolling. It's been 20 years since Mulder and Scully first met. Did you ever imagine that we'd still be talking about the show after all this time?
No, when you start something, you don't even think about that kind of thing. I mean, we went to Vancouver to do the pilot, and we were just struggling to try to figure out what to do on a day-to-day basis. So I never ever thought that I'd be associated with anything that lasted more than a week or two. How about you?
Same.
What elements of the show do you think would be different if X-Files began today? In many ways, a very different world.
They cast like younger people.
And they'd get more money. And they'd tweet about it every day. And people would binge watch.
The show would probably be very different in this era where the internet makes spoilers and information accessible and security's tighter. Do you think that perception of like American culture and government has changed to that time?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think American culture and government has changed in that time? So much of this was based on the...
I didn't know we were going to have to be smart.
Yes,
I want to ask you questions about the Speedo. That's cheap. One more time?
Chris recently said something that was smart that I'm going to copy, which was that, you know, the likelihood of it being popular during the Bush administration was quite unlikely, but that we're actually in a climate right now where it would probably be quite welcome.
When did we first sort of realize that this formula and this concept was really connecting with an audience? Was there any particular moment where you began to realize the extent of the X-Files phenomenon?
We've been asked that question, so we both kind of agree that it was sometime in the third year of the show.
Yep.
It's hard to say. It was just like a feeling of wherever we were, and it just seemed that people would be talking about that show.
We're good.
I've always wanted to do that.
When working on the show, specifically, how far in advance did you know what was coming? Was each script a surprise as it came in, or did you have an idea of where things were going over the course of the season?
I was always surprised because I was never involved in that creative process. So when I received a script, it was literally usually a few days before we would start shooting.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes not a few days. But generally, we get it. But there were rewrites, you know, that would come down the pike that were surprises. You know, it was the kind of show, the kind of dialogue that you couldn't just kind of memorize in the makeup chair and go deliver. It was kind of chunky sometimes, especially for the doctor.
Yeah, I got the chunky shit.
Chunky style dialogue, my favorite. Thank you.
Did you start to take more of an active role in developing the characters as the show went on, or was it all right there? Like, did you trust Chris Carter to do it, and did he just give you the pages and he knew where it was going?
You know, since we're the only ones up here, we should tell the truth. You know, once a character gets handed to an actor, he or she becomes really the caretaker and the boss of that character. And they can write whatever they want pretty much, but it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to Gillian to make it consistent with the guy or the girl that we've made. So I don't remember your question. Yeah, right.
For Gillian, there's a lot of women quoted in the media saying that they went into science because of Scully. Did you have any idea at the time you were making science real and being such an inspiration in that way?
Well, that was originally why I took the job, is because I knew. No. No. I had no idea. It was a surprise to me when I was told that. In the olden days, when people really loved us, we got a lot of letters all the time, and a lot of people told me,
"We still love you! We do!"
And I was told, you know, quite frequently by girls who were either going into the medical world, or the science world, or the FBI world, or whatever other worlds that I reigned.
Cutting up things world.
The cutting up things world. That they were pursuing those pursuits because of the character of Scully, and I said, "Yay!"
I believe that a lot of men, me,
threw pencils at ceilings. Hid themselves in basements.
Because of me,
Yeah.
got into
Porn?
Scully.
You weren't into me.
What?
You weren't into me.
Yeah.
Did you feel the need to do any research in particular for your roles, or was it all right there in the script? Were there moments where the sort of context of supernatural and science and things were required, or did you just go off what was on the page?
David, what kind of research did you do?
Well, you know, I wasn't really acquainted with firearms, so I did firearm work.
Firearming.
Firearming. You know, these guys, it was a procedural, I guess you'd call that a procedural show. Procedural? You acquainted with that term?
Yeah.
But the procedure, it wasn't that important to get it so right. That really wasn't the heart of the show. This is not an excuse. Our focus wasn't on We actually probably broke just about every rule the FBI has. I think we were horrible FBI agents. And would have been fired. And aside from the fact that we never, ever solved one case. Research.
Yeah, well, I just, at the very beginning, I used to look stuff up. All those big words that I had, trying to make sense of the paragraphs, the chunky shit. And then I stopped. Then I acted. Like I knew what I was talking about.
So David, then there's a few interesting moments of role reversal. Actually, for both of you. There's a few interesting moments of role reversal over the show when Scully's faith became an issue, and suddenly Mulder sort of flips and starts playing the role of skeptic. So when there's something like that, how do you sort of sell that and justify it as an actor, like taking someone who scoffs at religion but wants to believe in everything else?
Well, I think that why it's funny, but it is. Right now, I'm not sure why this moment is funny. We can all agree that it is. And maybe we can figure it out later and we'll tell ourselves. Somebody will let me know. Because I'm feeling it. I feel it's funny. I don't know why. You know, it's just part of, you know, playing the part or you know, I've said before, I said yesterday. I know why that was. Right in the first season, all of a sudden, an episode came my way where I was deathly afraid of fire. And I said to Chris, Gillian and I watched a motel on fire in the pilot, and I was fine. I didn't so, but you know, I had to play that I was deathly afraid of fire. So that's what you do when it comes your way. Now, religion, it just depends, I guess, on the institutionalization of it. I would imagine Mulder took issue with, not the faith aspect or the spiritual aspect. What's going on behind me? If you play it back later, made a hell of a lot of sense. I'm sure of it.
And were there any moments from the TV show or film that really stuck out? Like any particular moments for the week or any
I'm on to something. Did you have something to say?
Go on.
No, we got nothing over.
Okay. All right. Let's get that one. What projects do you have that you're working on right now? Gillian, you have 3 TV series you're currently working on?
Yeah.
And David, you have a movie.
That's greedy. I'm learning about Gillian here. You know, I don't think people want to hear us talk about new stuff. I think they want to talk about X-Files. They want to hear us talk about X-Files. So let's do that. All right.
In that case, I'll ask you guys one more question and we can get moving towards the Q&A. There's a microphone in this aisle and a microphone in this aisle. The crowd is also
When music stops, find a chair.
okay, so,
Does anybody have a tissue I can... Yeah. I was going to say borrow, but have.
$50 for a hairpin. Anybody a hairpin?
crowd to come up to Q&A, and I might as well be the one to ask it because I'm on stage.
We'd love to. We'd love to. Chris would love to.
And with that, we will begin the Q&A.
Spicy.
First, I just wanted to say, Gillian, Scully was the first person I saw on TV that reminded me of me, and it made it okay to be a smart girl. And so, you are probably directly responsible for me being here anyway, like at this con. So, thank you for that. My question is... My question is for both of you. I'm sure that in your last 20 years in talking about the show that people have come up to you with some other conspiracy theories. And I just wanted to know what's the most ridiculous one you heard or the most scarily believable ones you heard.
The most ridiculous conspiracy theory I've heard lately is that Obama is trying to ruin America with a health plan.
I just wanted to know, what were some of the weirdest things you had to film on the X-Files? Like, weirdest or awkward?
There was that one where we had to climb out of a hole. We were covered in yellow slime, and then we had to climb out of the earth and covered in dirt in a dirt hole. That was awkward.
Snakes. I think I had snakes in my pants once. You weren't there. There was a lot of night shoots, a lot of difficult kind of night shoots where you're sleeping in your trailer at 4 in the morning, you're woken up to go run through the forest. It's got to be interesting job, right? You're in the high heels through that forest. Talk about FBI agent. Get a pair of sensible shoes.
I'm sure there was crazier stuff than that, but...
I remember you not liking were there maggots that you didn't like?
Yeah. You got a problem with that? Maggots.
I'm not judging.
Okay. Yeah, there were maggots. Remember they stank because they were just feeding them desiccated liver?
Oh,
Yeah.
the bees. The bees were
Real?
It's funny. A lot of the bees were real. Many of the bees were real, and it's funny because we were shooting that out in that dome. What was that? No, it was on stage. They built that dome and on the Fox lot, and I was in a particularly bad mood that year. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to go home, and it seemed to me that we'd gotten everything we needed, and I went to Dan Sackheim and I said, when the fuck do we get out of here? Because we've got this. And he said, well, the bees get upset. What we do is we take the queen bee away from the hive, and the bees become disoriented because they no longer have, a woman to work for. And that's why they don't sting so much. But come nightfall, the bees get upset, and so we have to wrap the bees before nightfall. And I said, I don't know who the fuck is the agent of these bees. But I gotta get that agent. True story.
Go ahead, Amy, or no. So, yeah, you.
Yes. Hi. I have a question for Gillian and then a request from David. She's going to have to work a little harder, and then you're going to have to do something that'll make us all very happy. We were talking a little bit about Scully's faith, and I think there's this sort of bizarre to me modern notion that religion and science are somehow against each other. And I really appreciated seeing a character who could both be a scientist and believe in science, but also have this deep faith. And I wish we would have more of that nowadays, instead of this idea that, ooh, atheists are better, ooh, religion is better, and you can't have both kinds of beliefs. And if you have anything to say about that, that would be great.
Well, it seems to me it goes back a lot further than the X-Files.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it's worldwide, and there's not much to be done about it. I mean, people fight wars over that concept. But yeah, I think that Chris is I think he has very strong faith and is very broad-minded at the same time, and has a good balance of his own personal understanding and belief systems, and it's yeah, I'm talking shit. And for David, what was your question?
Well, it was from my friend over here, Shoshana. But if we could get a girly scream, that would be.
What episode did he do a girly scream for?
Can you give me like a cue?
Can anybody supply the cue? What?
Oh, it was like, bah! Was it? Like that? Bah! I don't know.
Okay.
Hi, David. Hi, Gillian. I am from Mexico. I just want to tell you that we love you in Mexico, and I hope you come there. Well, my question is more a request than a question. Would you like to do like 1 minute improv of Mulder's Code?
I'm in New York right now.
We're on the phone? We're on the phone. We're on the phone in this improv. What are you wearing? Scully, what are you wearing? Scully, what are you wearing?
Well, Mulder, on my little legs, I've got...
Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta get comfortable. What?
Actually, today I'm wearing a purple lycra pantsuit.
Slow down.
Mulder.
Yeah, I made purple. Yes?
Lycra.
Lycra?
Pantsuit.
Doesn't breathe. All right. I got it. Yes?
You still sitting down?
I'm not sitting down. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're breaking up.
Okay. I will talk to you later.
Broadway a couple years ago. And Gillian, I know you've done some work in the West End. Are you guys ever thinking about returning to stage, maybe when you're on hiatus, or if there's any iconic theater role?
Gillian is returning to the stage, I believe.
Yep, next year. And if it's any good, hopefully we'll bring it here.
Yeah, I would. It would, you know, it's got to be the right thing. I realized when I'd never done a play, let alone a play. I realized that you really have to love the play because you're going to be doing it every day. And, you know, I like this play a lot, but I think I'd want to do a comedy because it was tough to do that play every day. So that was a lesson learned.
Is there any iconic theater character, maybe in Shakespeare or something similar?
No, not really. I think I'd like to try the new stuff. I'd like to create a character.
Hank Moody, the musical.
Thank you.
So, I'm kind of a new fan, and watching it for the first time it was like kind of shocking visually in the best of ways. And because I grew up in this like post-Sopranos world, and I was wondering what you think the X-Files, having done so much with so little, has to say to this sort of more high-budget, high-gloss genre.
I'm actually curious, what would you see as the difference between a post-Sopranos world and what you saw in what we did? I'm just from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it was a budget thing, and just the fact that the world building was so effective, and the characters were so real, even though you were under these fluorescent lights and the low lighting in general, and the cheap costuming, and but at the same time. I mean, in the first 3 seasons, it gets obviously the budget.
I think what you're talking about is in the beginning, our DP, a fellow by the name of John Bartley, was really good. Remember that? Yeah, really good DP, and the decision to make the show as dark as it was one that was necessitated by budget because there was nothing really to see, or they couldn't afford to make something to see, or whatever you would have seen would have made you change.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Bartley and Chris decided on this very dark look for the show. Well, don't look at me like that. So by the third season, the show was actually getting quite expensive. You know, as the show went on, it became a very expensive show to make, and you saw a lot more. I don't know if that makes it a better show, but you know, by the end of the show, it was probably the most expensive show on television, technically.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
Hi. First, I just want to say I'm sure I speak for everyone here, but it is so exciting to see you guys sitting up there together. Thank you. And my question is, I was just wondering if you guys had any thoughts, or what you guys' thoughts were on the way the series ended.
We talked yesterday about how it ended, right? We had that conversation. Like we reminded each other yesterday, right?
I don't recall. It's hard. It's impossible to end a show that runs that long in any kind of way that's going to be satisfying for all the fans and even all the people that work on it. So it's not an enviable task to try and end a 9-year enterprise. So all things considered, I don't remember it well enough, but...
What about you? Do you think that it satisfy you?
Well, I loved all the episodes up to that one.
You mean up to the very last
Is
one?
it because it was the last one that you didn't like it? Or you just didn't like the last one?
I'm going to say yes.
Now, how would you like for it to end?
Was it so bad?
No, I think I'm going to get myself in trouble here. thought
What's your name?
My name is Cindy.
We need the last name. Go ahead, please, tell us.
No,
We are very receptive.
You're right, it's very hard to, I think it's very hard to do any series finale, to make it perfect and
Right.
satisfying for everyone. I guess I wish that the conspiracy would have had a little more answers to it, but...
Well, the thinking was always that we would do movies, so...
And I hope that
Yeah,
more.
well, so we did 2, so...
Will there be a third?
We would love to, I shouldn't speak for Chris, but I would imagine that the reason that he didn't tie up all of loose ends was because he wanted some loose ends to play with in the movies.
That's fair. Thank you so much.
Thanks again so much for doing this. Watching you guys do panels and interact that way and comment on the episodes and doing the AMA has been just amazing. And you guys obviously have a hilarious rapport. So kind of on that note, have you ever been approached with the idea of doing commentary on the DVDs or movies or anything like that? And would you be open to that kind of thing?
We did that once, didn't we?
The movie, probably.
Was it just a movie? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to doing commentary on episodes. I feel like I've done it a little bit at some point, but I don't know really what I comment on because I can't remember how.
Sound like this. This is what our commentary sounds like. I'll be Gillian.
Okay.
I don't remember that. What am I wearing?
It would be trying to. Oh, right, that's the scene where.
Remember that guy? He was nice, that guy. I know, honestly, it would be like, we would just be like, We don't remember it well enough to really give you good stuff. It would have had to have been closer to the time of shooting it. I wasn't thinking that it was a fault.
Hi, I just want to say that, or ask, the X-Files brought my dad and I together when I was little. I was about 13 when I started watching, and it was the first thing that we had to share. And in the same vein, I met one of my best friends who's with me today. So we've been friends for 18 years because of the X-Files. And I just wonder how that makes you feel knowing that you've done that for people like us and for, I'm sure, many people around our age who grew up with it.
I think that's one of the things that happened back then that doesn't necessarily happen today as much as it used to, bringing people together because of the fact that you had to actually stay home to watch something, and then you go into the office the next day and talk about it around the water cooler or whatever they say, it'd be interesting to know what the equivalent of that is, other than live tweeting about it. People tweeting to each other live today to their best friend and their 200,000 other best friends.
I think it's hard for any kind of cultural artifact to get kind of consensus that you were able. It was before everything splintered into not only cable, but all the other things that have come out of the internet. So it's very hard for it to feel like there's consensus talking about a certain thing for more than 2 or 3 days. But I think when somebody says something like what you just said, of course we're grateful, for all the fans, but I would like, we would like to thank you on behalf of everybody that made the show, because we acted on the show, obviously, but there were 200 people that made that show at any given time, so the show that went out in the world is the product of all of us, you know, so we can sit here and say, you know, you're welcome, but we'd like to say you're welcome for all of us.
Hi, I'm Tom. I first started watching the X-Files on DVD. I was about 11 at the time.
Okay, let's just stop with how young everybody is. We started watching. Let's put an end to that. Tom, go ahead. 11-year-old Tom.
You both look great, actually. But even back then, I've been. Okay.
How old are you, Tom?
I'm 19, actually.
You're old.
I'm 19, 1-9.
Oh, wow, I thought you, sorry. I don't have my glasses on.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'll just get right to it then. So.
Is there a naked man standing behind you? All right. Okay.
Take a picture of himself. Tom, you've been upstaged by naked. Go ahead, Tom.
Sorry,
That's
Tom.
the question.
I recently rewatched it, and I've noticed that as the series went on, that there have been subtle changes to the show, so it could adapt to the year it's been in, from like 1993 all the way to 2001. And I was wondering if the X-Files was still on today, how those changes would adapt. So, what kind of cell phones would Mulder and Scully have?
Probably the ones that everybody else has.
What apps would be on there?
Mulder and Scully's phones?
Uber alien. What is like that, you know, they talk about in California, there's like an app called Grindr. Like, where does it tell you where all the aliens?
They're gonna have sex with you. Isn't that the point of editing?
All right, Tom. Let's get to the We're interested in your economy.
Yeah. Thanks, young Tom.
Hi.
Have you got something over your nipples?
Maybe. That guy.
Oh wow, it speaks.
What's up? Oh, he's not talking. You.
Yeah, I'm talking.
All right. My bad.
I didn't maybe take my shirt off.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Come on.
I put my glasses on, I can't talk.
No, it's all good fun. I'm talking to Gillian Anderson. When is that going to happen again? So my question for you is 20 years of carrying this identity, being Mulder and Scully. I'm curious about the double-edged sword. Like, does it sometimes become a crap? In a way. Like, you know, David, you're doing Hank Moody on Californication, for example. You know, you carry these identities. You were talking about being the caretaker of that identity. Like, what's it like really being Mulder? Like, what's it like really being Scully when someone looks at you? I can understand that it's great in like moments like this when you're surrounded by fans, but is it a double-edged sword? Essentially, is what I'm asking.
I don't know what it's like to be Mulder, honestly. Because I never thought of myself as, I don't think of myself as Mulder. I think of myself as David, who, you know, whatever his life is. I think that when we were doing the show, because it was so popular that I think we were both afraid that, what's going on behind me? What is she doing? You tell me.
She just put her glasses on
Oh, really?
to get a better look at me.
His nipples.
initially, maybe towards the end of the show and right afterwards, you know, you want to do something as opposite from that as an actor as you can, but I don't know, do you feel like Scully? I mean, you feel...
No, I mean, I think it's that my experience of characters that I play, you know, speaking for myself, is you know, as standing on the outside as somebody who plays them, not as somebody who becomes them for a day or 9 years or whatever. It's not. It's it feels very much like I am separate from those.
And then you let it go.
Yeah. So it's objectively, it's a cool thing. I can judge it as being either cool or sucky, but yeah, it doesn't go beyond that.
I have to amend my answer because I realize now that Gillian and I occasionally exchange emails. How many a year? 5.
Yeah, that's what you tell people.
Sometimes I sign Mulder. I'll sign Mulder. You did.
Yeah, that's true, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess I think I'm Mulder.
And I signed mine Skullbag. It's not even Nippleman yet. It's over here as this guy with the jacket on.
No?
No, what, huh?
It's the
10 minutes.
Hi.
10 minutes. Hi.
Hi, sorry. So I just want to say thank you for you guys for being here. I think you mean a lot to everybody that's in this room, and we're very thankful for the X-Files because it gave the ability to have shows like Supernatural on the air still today, which is absolutely fantastic. But I was just curious if you guys are paying attention to the season 10 comics at all. Is there anything that you're aware of that's going on in there, and if there's anything that you hopefully will want to see either addressed or resolved in the third movie, if you guys hopefully get to make it ever?
The only thing I paid attention to is the approval of the artwork, and I actually haven't read any of the insides of the comic books at all.
No, I haven't either. And in terms of what we'd like to see in a third movie, I think Gillian and I agree that it would be, you know, alien conspiracy based. We want to see. I don't know about coming up new shows, but it seems like that's the heart of the show, and we'd love to get back to that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nippleman.
What is your story, dude? What's up with you?
Well, my name is Hank. Hank Moody. Apparently I'm the writer of this Showtime series.
Yeah, I know it.
Called California. I would like to know, could you sign my book for me since you're the inspiration of our series of origination?
Wait, I'm confused.
So am I.
Okay. You're a writer, you're pretending to be a writer, or you are a writer on Californication?
No, he's not a writer.
Okay.
Exactamundo.
So you're pretending to be a writer on Californication and wants David's signature on a DVD?
On the book that is right here.
Is that your real voice?
Let's
And what's on your nipple? The most important thing is what's on your nipple.
It says, hello, my name is Hank. This fell off. Blah, blah, blah. And
Okay.
Moody on the left nipple.
Okay. Thanks. But I'm not going to sign it because I don't want to jip everybody else here, but it's nice to meet you, so let's get to it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm scared.
I just want to say that X-Files has been a big part of my life. I've seen every episode, but there was one episode in particular that stuck out to me that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. It was called Home.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, when you guys were shooting that episode, were there things that you weren't allowed to shoot, or like, did you know at the time it was going to be as controversial as it was?
No, we didn't know that was going to be controversial. We thought it was a good episode. I remember, you know.
Well, I remember reading the thing about the mother under under the bed and thinking, whoa. And the fact that they kept
Drunk and they do it.
all of that shit, man. The fact that they were able to keep it on and they actually shot it and that it did air in some cities.
Well, that's the one episode. Kim Manners, who unfortunately died a couple years ago, was our great friend and directed probably the second most, if not the most of anybody, him and Rob, right? Probably, what, 30, 35? Many, many. Great guy, Kim. And Kim was very proud of the fact that Home, which he directed, was the only X-File that didn't repeat. They took it out of the rotation because people were grossed out and standards and practices couldn't deal with it. So that's for Kim.
You can show a mangina, but you can't show I just introduced David to old Greg. Has anybody known who Oh my God.
Do you love me?
Sorry.
One more thing. Speaking of controversy, are we going to see you appear in Hannibal Season 2?
Me?
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. How many more minutes?
All right.
At the very end, I'm going to do the shirt auction, so somebody has to remind me when we're getting close, because I don't do that. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
X-Files was my first pop culture love, and I've had many, so thank you so much. Vince Gillian wrote some of my favorite episodes of the X-Files. We all know he's gone on to do some amazing things, as have you guys. Would you ever, or is there any possibility, or would you ever want to collaborate with either of you separately or together with Vince again? Or are there any other writers or directors that you'd like to from the series that you'd like to?
Yeah, well, Vince, we knew Vince was a really talented writer when he was on the show. Some of his episodes were also some of our favorites, I would say. Gillian's favorite, Bad Blood, was written by Vince. So I'll speak for you. We go by material, not by people, and Vince creates good material. So of course you'd say, yeah, you'd work with Vince, probably, depending on the material. We had a lot of talented directors come through.
I was just thinking maybe we should talk to,
well, Howard Gordon's another guy,
yeah.
Does Homeland.
Darren Morgan, we were talking yesterday about him being one of our favorites as well, because we've also talked about doing something funny together in the future.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
we'll talk to Darren about writing.
Yeah, I love Darren, but he takes a long time. Wonderful, wonderful writer.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to say hello and thank you for making such a great show. And I love your cameo in Reboot, Gillian. And
thank you.
Can animate the show?
Reboot? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, it's just
I don't think I
that's
did.
you.
Okay.
Wasn't there.
Thanks.
My question is, what is your inspiration to your characters?
For Mulder and Scully?
Like way back when Tom was 11? The inspiration?
I guess for me at the time, because Silence of the Lambs had come out, and
I just heard the lamb screaming.
probably, Clarice Starling, just because I was a... what is that? Is that like a box screen? Is that a human being? Yeah. It's the phone.
And I think, for Mulder, what I liked about it in the writing, in the script, was that he was not an unconventional FBI agent, so I was able to kind of not make the standard procedural law enforcement guy.
And X-Files is the best show on TV.
My man.
Thank you.
We have time for 2 more questions. So,
I am so super nervous right now.
Don't be nervous.
First of all, I won't say how old I was when I started watching the X-Files, but as a child.
Go ahead.
I was
6 when I started. And David, you were my first childhood crush. And I still have a crush on you. My question is the Mulder and Scully relationship. I know that some TV shows, when you actually pair the main characters together, it kind of takes away from the TV show. I personally love Mulder and Scully as a couple, and I was just wondering what your opinion was on that and their development from the first season all the way to the last season, even to the movies.
I personally enjoyed the fact that they didn't get together for a really long time. The fact that the writers were clever enough to drag it out. So that even in later seasons, you know, even the touch of a hand or a hug or whatever was meaningful. I kind of.
While we were doing it, I didn't, you know, you're in it, and I would like to speak for Gillian again, I don't know if I am, but we weren't aware of, you know, what we were doing, really. We're just doing it. And so we didn't play the Mulder and Scully thing. We were just kind of, at a certain point, we're just kind of instinctually doing what Mulder and Scully did. And it was very easy. And when we came back to do the second film after years, it was still whatever. We kind of fell into, it was weird to be Mulder, but it wasn't weird to be Mulder and Scully. I don't know if you found out. So that's true though, but when, and recently, and I don't know why, but I've seen some of the stuff that maybe you guys have done, but the fans have put together like clips with romantic songs of Mulder and Scully doing stuff or looking at each other, and it's really kind of cool. It's very emotional, and I get it now. I get it now. Yeah.
And very last question, right over there. Hi guys, thank you very much for coming out. What I definitely took away from the show is how important it is to have a really good partner, either someone who challenges what you think and is your complete opposite, or thinks the way you do as well and will always support you. So with that, I actually have a request and a question. The request is if I could have your blessing, and my question is actually to my girlfriend.
Come up here and let's end this part of the show with you guys being embraced by this lovely group of people.
Oh my God! Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
So let's wish Miguel and Morgan a long and happy life and a beautiful marriage.
I auction off a t-shirt that I'm wearing, which is Conversation on the Rock, and the money goes to Say Yes, which is one of my charities, and it's kind of a downer after that.
The Scully DNA on it, right?
Yeah, it might be a little ripe. But is that something you guys would be interested in? Would you be interested in? Okay, so start at 20.
50!
Okay.